And we're live. Hello, my name is Jeremy. This is the Ethanol Review. If you've never seen this before, it's a YouTube channel where I explore the spectrum of booze. Wine reviews, beer reviews, cocktail instructions, liquors, liqueurs, blind tastings, all of that shit. This is pretty much a generalist channel for booze education. Today we're going to talk about a very obscure spirit category, at least in North America, especially in the South, called aquavit. So buckle up. All right, aquavit. What is aquavit? This is a botanically infused neutral grain spirit, kind of like gin, but different. And it comes from Scandinavia. I think it first started, at least being recorded, of being made around 500 years ago, 1530s, I think. And kind of the key piece of this spirit is it's gonna have either a prominent caraway note or a prominent dill note, or perhaps a mixture of the two. So again, if you were to compare it to gin, which I think that's an easy way to kind of wrap your head around it, even though there's a lot of differences, is gin is juniper, right? Juniper oriented. To give you an example, think about like Tanqueray gin. Tanqueray, that piney character, that's a very juniper heavy gin. Aquavit, more of this caraway dill character. So it has more of a, for me at least, in the two brands that I've tried, so take that with a grain of salt, it has more of a savory characteristic. It's still a grain spirit like gin, but the two brands I've had have a bit more body, a bit more substance, savory characteristics to it. Norden, which is a brand made in Michigan, I think it's Detroit, Michigan, has won, I think, double gold at the San Francisco Spirit Fest, or I can't remember exactly what the competition was called. But it's an aquavit made in America that has some accolades, and it apparently is made in a very traditional style. So they're using copper pot stills, organic grain. They're using, I think, around 10 different botanicals, but caraway and dill are kind of the key players, is my understanding. That being said, though, I've never actually tasted this brand. You can't get the brand in Alabama as far as I'm aware. The only reason I have it is because the master distiller, Robin, generously shared it with me so I could share it with other people. I am curious to pop this open and taste it. It's a beautiful label. I really like the teal and orange white thing going on. Really cool. Fits well in the palm. See, I can do this, I can do that. I got that number going on. Incredibly aerodynamic. 45% alcohol, which is pretty cool. I actually expected it to be lower. I hadn't thought to look at it. Honestly, I just want to cut through the bullshit and taste this because I'm really interested in how this is going to play out. Okay, perfectly clear. Looks like vodka, looks like gin. This is, I just read, is a single pass-through on a copper pot still. So to give you a frame of reference, Tito's vodka, 6 times through, right? 6 times distilled, 6 times stripped, basically, purified. So this is a single run. So what basically that communicates to me, without having tasted it, is that they're really trying to showcase what they're doing here. They're not trying to hide behind, again, multiple distillations to strip and clean it up. They're trying to show you what they're about. So I assume that has to do with they're showing off the water source, they're showing off the grain source, and especially showing off the botanicals they're using, right? Probably caraway or dill dominant. I believe, and I think I may have already said this, there's 10 select botanicals are used. Yeah, herbs, spices, botanicals. Yeah, let's see what this smells like. Well, that's a lot of citrus. Okay. Wow. This reminds me of a hop called Sriracha Ace. If you know this, you may not know what that is, but it's a particular kind of hop that you use in beer typically, and it's got this bright lemon and dill characteristic to it. I mean, you can blindfold yourself and know that hop in a lineup from a mile away. This reminds me of it, but there's more going on. Wow. The aroma is fucking cool, man. There's a lot of change to it. There's a lot of moving parts. You certainly get this bright citrus, kind of like grapefruity orange character. But there's this almost kind of sweet aroma underneath with just the faintest bit of dill. It's not... Imagine if toffee... Yeah, kind of like a faint toffee, but think really pale toffee, if that makes sense. With this kind of slight savory, bright citrus characteristic going on. Kind of reminds me of Fruit Loops also. Kind of that like cereal grain, but with bright, kind of like fruit and sweetness. Really, really cool nose. I mean, that is a cool freaking nose right there. I can just smell this, man. I don't even need to taste it. Who needs a buzz? I get high on aroma. God, that's spectacular. Okay. Long finish. You still, again, this makes me think of if I just ate Fruit Loops, like Fruity Pebbles or something, but I ate it, like 10 minutes ago. And you have this lingering kind of grainy, fruity character, like with a little bit of sweetness, but there's dryness, like a botanical dryness that kind of reminds me of gin a little bit, but on the back of the tongue. There's some body to it. It's got some substance. It's not thin. Just one distillation run through, right? So that's good. The ABV, 45%, so that helps too. So you've got some body, some substance, some complexity. It's sweet at first and then it dries out on the back end, still with the fruit. It's very, very good on the palate. The aroma is even better though. The aroma on this thing is just fucking bonkers, man. And the palate is good. You can't take anything away from the palate, but it just, the kind of the botanical dryness on the finish, even though it's long, it's almost like it needs something else. Maybe it just needs food. Something hearty and rich is kind of what my mouth is kind of salivating for. The aroma is just so fantastic though. I mean, overall, and I've only had 2 other Aquavit, so, again, take it all with a grain of salt, but this blows those other 2 out of the fucking water. It really is a good spirit, and there are not many crystal clear spirits that I would drink neat and say, wow, like, okay, like that's on point. Overall, I think this is awesome, man. Again, it's called Norden Aquavit. It's their Tafel style, so I guess that's like table, kind of like all-purpose aquavit they would use at meals or celebrations or whatever. I do think this could use some food, and honestly, fuck, I think this would be great in a martini. I'm talking like 3 parts of this aquavit to maybe 1 part of a dry vermouth that maybe Dolan would be good with this. Give it just a tiny bit of sweetness, right? Because the finish is dry. Tiny bit of sweetness. I bet this makes a killer martini, and that is what I am going to make with it, and see what happens. I think it's gonna be fucking spectacular. Oh, there's clementine in it too. So I guess that's where all that fruit's coming from. Very cool. Sumac is in it. Sage, orris. I don't know what the fuck that is. Obviously caraway and dill. anise, coriander, angelica, juniper. Really cool. Norden, great fucking job. We gotta get this in Alabama. Maybe that can be my life's mission, is to bring this aquavit to Alabama, and then I can die a happy man. Okay, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. If you enjoyed it, subscribe on YouTube. If you really enjoyed it, which I'm sure none of you will, go to patreon.com/theethanolreview, and you can donate. Become a monthly patron. It can even be $1. That $1 could keep me off the streets of Huntsville begging for liquor. Just drinking brown bags of empty bottles. There's nothing even in the bottle. Like, that's how bad it is if you don't donate $1 to my Patreon account. Okay. Thank you, Norden. Thank you, Robin. Super fucking good. Great work. Take care.